and welcome to This Car Pod.
I'm Filippo.
I'm Nick.
I'm Doug. There's a lot to cover. Let's start with the news. Mercedes-Benz has shown off a new G-Wagon convertible. This is not a surprise. They had announced this a year ago, and then a few months after that, they showed sort of a teaser image of the roofline. We all kind of figured it would look like this, and now they're showing another. It's still not like production ready, but we have a pretty good idea of what it's going to look like. And Filippo, you pumped, dude? You putting down an order or what?
I think this confirms that it's just G63, right? Which
I don't think it confirms
expected.
that.
Okay.
No, I don't think.
I mean, the AMG license plate is a little bit of a teaser, but yeah, there could be a base model.
This particular photo of one is the G63, but I'm still holding out hope that they do an electric one.
And the EQ technology is sold real well.
A base model with, with the stronger than the 1980s look would be pretty damn cool too.
I'm so into that.
Nonetheless, it's going to cost $300,000 or $350,000 or God knows. I am no longer interested in it for a lot of reasons. Nick, you're an SUV convertible man. Are you pursuing it?
If I had Doug DeMuro money, I might, but a little out of my budget.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't think we've learned anything new because we knew what a G-Wagon looks like. We know what a G-Wagon convertible looks like.
Well,
it's just a Mercedes
the teaser images are great if you have literally zero imagination whatsoever. Otherwise, this is exactly what you expected it to look like, which is a G-Wagon with a convertible roof.
I mean, I think it does sort of, first off, the fact that it's a four-door, which we did know already, it does sort of give us credence into exactly how they've integrated it with the four-door. I mean, it's a little bit more detailed, and it's obviously all of us have been around the two-door one for, many times for over many years. It's interesting to see. The third brake light thing, for example, is interesting because I have my silly one that sort of sticks out from the back. It's interesting to see sort of some modern reinterpretation of it. But Filippo,
we've like the roof appears to come up, and then there's like a middle section that is quite long, but it doesn't reach all the. Like you can see where the actual like roof line starts. Like it seems like the convertible top.
Ultimately, the problem with doing a four-door convertible is that there's a lot of problems with doing a four-door convertible. But one is that the roof is incredibly long. So I wonder if. Yeah, there's a fixed point in the front, or I don't know. We're going to figure all this out. Filippo's going to go on the press drive for this car.
Oh, I would love to.
In Salzburg, he's going to go.
Yeah, fair.
It does have a little Envoy XUV vibes in the back, but no, I mean, it'll be cool. It's going to sell well. It's an absolute no-brainer for them.
Knows.
It'll sell fine. The G-Wagon is a status symbol. This ups the ante of it being a status symbol. Like
I am curious what it's going to look like with the roof up. My car is kind of notoriously ugly with the roof up, my two-door old one. But I have a suspicion that if they really wanted to work it, they would probably try to make it look like a G-Wagon with the roof up, like an actual squared-off rear end.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Like really make effort to not make it look stupid with the roof up like my car does.
It does have the benefit of your car has to have windows, right? Like the second rows there needs to have actual windows. This might not to the same degree.
The Mercedes-Benz has been slow to adopt rear view mirror cameras. However, the 4x4 squared G-Wagon does have a rear view mirror camera. So it's totally possible that they're going to integrate something similar into this car. However, every rear view mirror camera I know about is integrated at the top of the rear window.
Yeah, good point.
Which this car won't have. But we'll see. It'll be interesting. I know Sean's frothing at the mouth to order one in a bad color.
Doug, the big question for you is, are you selling yours? And if so, do you sell it before this comes out to like capture the hype? Do you wait till after it comes out and people want the two-door version? What's good? How's this going to impact the market for your Barbie Jeep?
I am definitely selling mine probably in September. I do not care whether it's impacted by this or not. I need to get out of it for a lot of reasons. None related to this. It's just time. My family is growing. We have another child coming, and ultimately,
congratulations.
I've already made the announcement.
I couldn't remember. I thought I'd wager the bet.
But I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But anyway, we just, the car's 27 years old, and it's just not. We're very demanding on our vehicles at this point, and it's time.
You're not a little worried this is going to hurt your resale,
maybe. It doesn't matter to me though. It needs to go regardless. My car needs to be sold regardless. So
when this comes out, standing offer $40K for your G-Wagon.
Ooh, generous.
Which is about what the fixed roof variant is.
I think that there's something cool and special about the old car that will always be cool and special. And by the way, with regards to hurting resale, this new one is going to be probably $100,000 more than my old one, even as special as it is. And that's if you can get one, and that's probably waiting another 6 months and all that. I think that this new G convertible is not exactly going to be budget friendly like some Range Rover convertibles have been in the past.
Right, for others.
I've got some updates on that. Oh my God! I still thought this was the craziest purchase you've ever done, where you're just like, I'm buying a G convertible, and I'm like, I didn't know that existed, and then just the next day you showed up with it and told us what you spent, and I was like, holy moly! I can't believe this world exists.
I've made some smart car decisions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it really was in hindsight.
I want to quickly recap. The based on a lot of the spy photos here, it does look like there's a strip at the front that's actual
it would almost have to be
cover, and then there's like a bar at the back and maybe some other panels. It's going to be interesting to see.
Give us our next news story, please.
Right.
Yeah, the Audi Q9. Nick, you pumped?
You know what? I'm pumped because it meets my particular need, although I'm in a ton of Audi Facebook groups. And let me tell you what, there is a lot of all caps boomers that are really upset about this. Because they still think Audi makes the TT, which they don't, the R8, which they don't.
Yeah.
They think Audi is a sports car brand, which they're not anymore. And
never were ultimately a sports car brand.
I agree with that too. Maybe you could argue that like the Quattro days, even then it was the 4000, the 5000. Regardless, this is the ultimate mom mobile by Audi. It is a 3-row SUV. It is not. And so the biggest complaint was, it's a rebadged Atlas. It's actually got nothing in common with the Atlas. It's not on that platform. Yes, it probably is the same buyer, but it is not an Atlas. It is a unique vehicle. It's more closer to a stretched Q7 than it is a Atlas.
The Atlas is the cheapest 3-row, more or less. The Atlas buyer is very different from the Q9 buyer, considering the Q9 starts above $91,000.
Doug, let me tell you something about America, all right? We finance things. So if you could stretch into an Atlas, you could stretch into a Q9, all right? You might need to do some shady stuff, but we could.
By the way, for 27, the Atlas is redesigned, and it's notably more expensive. I think they want to not be the cheapest one.
The Q9 looks really appealing to me. Base powertrain, at least here in the States, is the turbo 2.9 liter V6 powertrain. I do not love 430 horse. You can get an SQ9 with 600, more or less 600 horsepower. It's going to be pretty good. And it's finally a real competitor to X7 and GLS and all them.
It's bigger.
But it's basically that size, and I assume it's bigger because Audi is assuming that that's where the next generation of both of those very old SUVs will end up. Great that Audi's done this. Here we are.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool that the SQ7 is the twin turbo V8 that's in all the other high performance Audi products. That's a pretty liked engine.
SQ9, you got to get into it now mentally. SQ9.
I apologize. SQ9. It's almost the length of an Escalade, not an Escalade long, but Escalade regular. There's a couple of cool things, right? They've done a bunch of cool lighting things. Like they're very proud of their like matrix taillights and headlights.
Yep.
There's also, when you turn the turn signal on, there's like a projector beam that comes out of the side of the headlight that projects on the ground like arrows in the direction you're going to turn. Which is surprising.
Lighting gimmicks have been Audi's playbook since the early 2000s. And I'm not even mad about it. It's just like remember the V10 S6 came out with the cool LEDs down below and the sort of the pattern in the B8 A4s. So like they've been on top of that. Like for whatever reason they realize it works and they're just recycling that. But I do think it's a good looking car. They had shown us some teasers. Like we knew what it was going to look like at this point, but the first real life example came out yesterday Tuesday rather of this week. The other thing interesting about it is it is primarily for the North American market. Yeah. So despite being a German brand and all that, and this built in Europe, they're thinking of America first when they're building this car.
Yeah, including towing capacity, which is relatively strong, a little bit over 7,000 pounds.
Almost 8,000 actually, 7,700 for the SQ9.
Nick, I'm reading a quote. I'm reading a quote from their head exterior designer. And he says it looks a little different from other Audis, smoother surfaces because, quote, we wanted to express sovereignty. That is a baller quote.
Oh, my God.
I presume he means over the model line and not just we assume sovereigns will buy the vehicle. But nonetheless, we wanted to express sovereignty. That's legit.
That's wild. They are doubling down on it. It's their flagship SUV. It's their top of the line, yada, yada, yada. But I would disagree that it really looks fundamentally different than any other Audi. It is immediately recognizable as an Audi.
The front is the same as a Q7, just about.
It also just generally kind of has, it's actually in this photo, I think it looks a little different, but from the rear, it's got a lot of Q6 in it. Nonetheless, it certainly is, it's going to be a big old thing. And 3 rows. Yeah, Q7 has always been kind of this weird stopgap. It was like a Volvo XC90 size, a little bigger than an X5, with the 3 rows. They kind of managed to make it work. You wonder how they'll go with Q7 now. The rational thing would have been when you're redesigning Q7, do you bring it up market? We already know there's a new Q7 coming, but like where does that end up? Where does that end up, falling? Now you have kind of 2 3-row SUVs in the same showroom. That'll be an interesting
But that's also been true. I mean, when the Q7 came out, it was intentionally bigger than the X5 and the GLE. At the time, BMW didn't have an X7. The GLS kind of existed. It's like it plays in between. A lot of Audi's products do kind of straddle the line. I will say this starts, it'll be for sale in Q4 of this year. The regular Q9 starts at $89, which is $2,500 cheaper than a GLS 450. It's $8 grand cheaper than the cheapest Escalade. So they're still kind of going for a little bit of an in-between price.
And like any Audi flagship, it's going to depreciate like a bag of rocks. So a couple years from now, you can choose between this and a GLS for about a third a sticker.
Yeah.
That's true.
Imagine you finally win your dream car at auction, a pristine gated manual supercar. But to save money on transport, you hire a cut-rate hauler with a rusty flatbed and frayed bungee cords. You wouldn't trust a sketchy trailer with a rare exotic. It's the same reason why Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm. It comes down to having the right resources. Not all law firms are the same. Hire the wrong one, and you might be beat before you even start. Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people for over 35 years and has recovered over $30 billion for their clients. Hiring them is like showing up to a track day with a full factory racing team. They have more than 1,000 lawyers and 100 offices nationwide. If you are injured because of someone's negligence, you deserve to be paid. Morgan & Morgan fights to get their clients the best results. If you are ever injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan. Their fee is free unless they win. You can go to forthepeople.com/DeMuro for more information.
All right, next news story, please. Yes. Right. What is this?
Okay, so Honda has shown what is likely to be the next generation Accord, their hybrid Accord concept. But they've also said that they're planning on building an Accord SUV hybrid that everybody's interpreting as kind of playing in like the Outback Cross Tour space. So a couple generations ago, there was a Accord Cross Tour, which was, by the way, probably Honda's best product at the time. Based on all the reviews, like it fixed a lot of the Accord's issues. It just looked atrocious.
Horrible.
That is like a deep, brown diesel manual wagon car enthusiast take.
No, everybody
not backed up by any actual belief of
everybody complained of that generation Accord for having road noise issues and that being kind of the biggest shortcoming. The Accord Cross Tour fixed that, added a bunch of luxury and sound deadening, and kind of fixed that problem.
No, the Cross Tour was an affront to everyone's eyeballs.
It wasn't pretty, but it was practical.
That is not, it wasn't just not pretty, it was truly heinous.
Yeah, well, hopefully this one will be better. This is not the SUV concept, it's just a regular Accord hybrid concept. There'll be an SUV kind of playing in the Outback space.
Sorry, I'm still, this is like saying the Aztec was a great car other than its looks. It's a big
there's
but.
There's an argument to be made.
There is a decent argument to be made, but like the looks were so bad that it completely tanked the car.
The Cross Tour wasn't beautiful.
It was, just say that it was awful and we can move on.
It wasn't beautiful.
The irony of the Cross Tour to me is that it sort of predated the teardrop shape that so many EVs have now adopted as kind of the norm. And I think that car and the ZDX, which got so much hate for their looks, they're not that different from Model Y and all these other EVs, Mach-E. It's really not that different. Certainly from a profile, it's basically the same.
Agreed. But Edmund's data shows that apparently the Outback is for consumers that are leaving Honda, but not for like a directly competing nameplate. The Outback is one of the top 10 that they're leaving for, and so it makes sense to maybe play in that space, especially as the Outback has gotten more SUV-y. We'll also note a couple of other pieces of Honda news, they're planning on going all in on hybrids with the next generation of products. It's likely that the Accord, the CR-V, and the Pilot will all go hybrid only for their next generation.
Again, you got to assume Odyssey will.
You gotta hope. Yes, I'm sorry. Ridgeline and Odyssey expected also.
We found out that Odyssey is heavily delayed because of their whole EV investment money spend thing, but you got to assume Odyssey goes fully or goes hybrid too.
Yeah,
so everybody's doing hybrid. Nick, how you pumped about that? Here you are.
Well, oddly, the Q9, there's no plans for a plug-in hybrid, which is what I want. But
what do you want?
Understand
you want a plug-in hybrid? Hey, Nick, you want a plug-in hybrid? Yeah. Let me ask you a question, bud. You're looking for a plug-in hybrid. Where are you looking? You looking at Q9 plug-in hybrids? You must be looking at like Escalades, Range Rovers, GLSs, or were you at the Mazda store looking at CX-90s?
We were at the Mazda store. Actually,
spectrum.
I have. There's 4 cars in our segment, so we went the smallest SUV that has 3 rows and a plug-in hybrid of at least 20 miles.
Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid.
Yes, so the Outlander, the CX-90,
long,
the Kia Sorento, and the XC90. My wife and I both like the XC90, other than every mom in our school has it, and it just
there's a reason for that. What about Nick? What about the is the Santa Fe, or is this only
just regular hybrid? We want full EV mode because most days we're driving like 10 miles tops, and it would be great to never use.
The Sorento is offered as a plug-in hybrid, but the Santa Fe is not. So is the Sorento built in Georgia?
That is not an important criteria, so I don't know.
You don't care about whether you're buying American, Nick? You don't care? Filippo's out here going through documents from months ago on his computer.
I have 4 options. I can't be picky about where it's produced. I don't think any of them are probably produced in America. At least that's my assumption.
Sorento plug-in hybrid is built in South Korea.
Yeah.
The Sorento plug-in hybrid is built in South Korea? Oh,
that's right.
Nick,
well, the Mazda, the Mitsubishi, and the Volvo are also not built in America. So it's kind of a moot point here.
After all the stuff you say on this podcast about certain political beliefs and that sort of thing, you're going to end up buying a car built out of our great.
Okay. Wait, I apologize. I apologize for other markets is built in South Korea. According to Bridgewater Kia's website, Kia dealer, the Sorento plug-in hybrid is assembled in West Point, Georgia.
There you go, West Point.
That sounds all right. Well, then that settles it. Doug, you'll appreciate too. I am working deals so hard here. So I have a friend who's a sales rep at Volvo, and he's getting me manager specials. My neighbor's brother-in-law's son works at a Kia dealership in Gilbert/Mesa, Arizona.
Nice.
I'm working with them. Like we're gonna get a killer deal on this car, regardless of what we get. And then we're looking at like slightly used ones that have like one has 1,200 miles and is on its 3rd owner, which might be a red flag to a lot of people, but to me, that says, I got a deal coming, baby.
My goodness. By the way, a lot of conflicting information on where it's built.
The other day, just for those of you who are watching, the other day, Nick texted our group chat, our friend car group chat, and he was talking about cars he was looking at, and I was like aghast that he hadn't even asked me for my take because
that was my favorite part.
I've gotten all these press cars, like I've driven all of these cars, like real distances as press cars, and of course, Nick doesn't know anything about new cars. So then we get 2 more exchanges down in this thing, and Nick told me that it has to be a plug-in hybrid, but they were going to do an R1S, but then his wife dismissed it because she thinks it's ugly or something. Well, the R1S is not a plug-in hybrid, and we're dismissing cars because we think they're ugly. I was like, I'm out. I don't want any part of this anymore, actually.
Which is
nothing to give.
Exactly why you weren't consulted is I know you don't have the patience for our level of indecision, and also that you would recommend things that we wouldn't like. The Lexus is the one that I said I couldn't do because of the vibe/aura of it.
And I was like, what about the Lexus TX? And you were like, my wife doesn't like Lexus. Okay.
By the way,
that car has such strong Karen vibes that I can't. The R1S we both actually really like. We're just not sure we're ready to go full EV.
You think that the Lexus TX has stronger Karen vibes than the XC90? Are you crazy?
Somehow.
No, it is worse. The Lexus is worse. The Lexus is peak Karen, like the ultimate Karen mobile. I will die on that hill, and I'm sure a lot of people will be very unhappy in the comments, but I stand by.
I will also say the 550h Plus, which is a plug-in hybrid, apparently is going away after 2026.
Well, yeah,
really?
Because it makes no sense in the lineup. It was the performance model. If you tell Nick the numbers, he might be interested in
5.2 seconds, 0 to 60 time. 404
but also,
horsepower.
Wasn't it like
it's not that impressive.
Horsepower or something
no,
insane?
It's 404. It's really surprisingly unimpressive.
but the torque was like 6 million.
Well, so go back to Honda. Do you expect the next generation Pilot, Odyssey, Ridgeline, Accord, CR-V to all be hybrid only?
Next generation Ridgeline? What are you talking about,
Speaking of the Ridgeline, they've teased the next generation. If I were a betting man, you know what the Passport looks like?
Yeah.
Cut off everything from the second row back, add a little bit longer bed, and you got the next generation Ridgeline. If I had to guess.
You know what I'd rather have? A fast Maverick.
Oh.
So there's going to be...
it's not next, sorry. People got to wait.
There's going to be a next generation Ridgeline. They're going to go through this all again. All right.
The amount of stories that get cut from the podcast because Filippo finds them interesting and Doug says, you are the only person that will find that interesting, like this Ford Maverick story.
So many.
No, great. Are you kidding? No way. Dude, the Maverick story, I'm so pumped. We'll get there. The Ridgeline, Nick, you still pining after the original Ridgeline, I assume?
No. Honestly, this gives me Blackwood vibes, though, and I am pining after one of those still.
By the way, they sold almost 50,000 Ridgelines last year. They sell.
Yeah.
They sell.
Well, okay. How many Tacomas they sell last year?
That doesn't matter.
275,000 units.
Yeah, but comparatively, you know.
Do you think that Honda, the collective, sits at home at night, up in bed, unable to sleep, wishing they had made different decisions in like the late 90s?
At this moment in time, I bet they're wishing they made different decisions in about 2017 when they planned the Sony Afeela.
But like,
that's the main topic of conversation.
If they had just gone after Boff in the late 90s, Filippo's a Boff man, don't you think things would be different now?
I think things are kind of, the 2025 and 2026 were not great years, but I think they're doing okay. The CR-V was the best-selling vehicle in America in Q2.
Yeah, well, hey, there's your core. Honda's a killer. They're a killer with the big six, and they're not really sure how to iterate beyond that. They got to hire me. I'll iterate for them.
All right, Honda, call Doug.
I'll tell you what to do. You build a 4-liter V6 off-road body-on-frame SUV, and you build it in America. Nick, am I right?
Dude,
what? Just so you know, they don't have a 4-liter anymore that I'm aware of. Just going to be a couple generations old.
Honda never had a 4-liter.
I thought they did briefly.
I don't think there's been a larger engine from Honda than 3.7, is my guess.
I feel like the Ridgeline is the official vehicle of I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. Like it's such a falling short vehicle where you're like, oh, I can't handle a real truck. I need like a Honda reliable car. Like it's such a disappointing.
Everyone who I know who has a Ridgeline, that is exactly the situation. But to their credit, everyone I know who has a Ridgeline is kind of upfront about that. They're like, I just wanted a truck, but I take stuff. I have a big property over, but I'm not a truck person. So here's what I've got.
Yeah. ChatGPT says the prototypical Honda Ridgeline buyer is a 47-year-old suburban dad named Greg who tells people he needs a truck, but the most demanding thing he hauls is 6 bags of mulch from Home Depot twice a year.
Every truck owner.
True.
Keep that in mind.
This is the one that's comfortable admitting that aloud, right? They're saying that quiet part aloud.
They're more confident. They're more mature than the average
Or
truck
they've
buyer.
just given up to the point where they wear Kirkland sweatpants and have just said, like, this is who I am.
Oh, God.
No
only
offense
you
to
know
Kirkland.
that there's Kirkland sweatpants. Give us our next news story, please.
By the way, you're right. It's 3.7 liter, except for their marine applications where there's a 5-liter V8.
Ooh. Oh, Honda makes a V8. Yeah. Damn. Nick, you hear this? They also make a jet. Don't they build
They do. But how do you measure the displacement and cylinderage of a turbine jet? I'm sure somebody has a way, but not my knowledge area.
What is this?
Speaking of disappointingly small power plants,
Dodge has revealed a couple of vehicles, or has teased a couple of vehicles. One is the Super Bee, which I think is a pickup truck. I don't know Dodge naming convention. The Super Bee is a pickup truck. Right?
That's the Rumblebee is the pickup.
The
Super
Rumblebee
Bee is the car.
Is a charger, and it's going to have a 6-pack, 6-cylinder in it. It's going to be the most powerful 6-pack, is my understanding. The Super Bee name was in like the 70s on Dodge products, came out again as the end of the Charger, and also in 2007, the beginning of the Charger. It's going to come out with this current generation of Charger as a 6-pack engine. There's also the Rumblebee, which is a Dodge Ram, which has some engine.
It's got a few engines you could choose from, but yeah, V8s. So what I loved about this, I was talking the other day about how AI press releases have gotten carried away. Dodge instead went for an AI-based video. So there's like these evil bees coming out, and they have Wiz Khalifa, black and yellow, black and yellow. Like it is awesome. I love the video. Please just use AI to make videos so that us people with short attention spans don't have to read through your jargon. But we are super, super pumped for that. They did confirm it was a 6-cylinder. There was some disappointment
in the Super
in that.
B, yeah.
But there's so many V8 like Charger variants that I think we can all live with this.
I
like more
also
special
just
editions
think-
better.
I think that like lost in this conversation about V8s in Chryslers is the fact that the 6-cylinder is a fantastic powertrain. And it makes great power and it's a lot of fun. And I still feel bad for the Ram RHO, which I think deserves much more success than it's had. It is a great truck with a great powertrain. And I love that 6-cylinder. I like it in the Wagoneer. I like it in all those cars. Yes, a V8 would be cool, but like, let's just go back to gas power first. Let's start there, and then we can have more conversations beyond that.
So the Charger hasn't been fully revealed, but we know it'll have a 6-pack.
They teased it with some Super Bs.
Some Super Bs. And then there's the Rumble Bee, not Bumblebee, Rumble with an R, which is this truck, which is available with 3 different engines somehow, including one that's a supercharged 6.2 liter V8 with 777 horsepower. They'll have a $98,000 MSRP.
Big money, but I mean, you know, same with the TRX or RHO. Yeah. But I love sport trucks personally. We talked about it maybe a month or two ago. So yeah, Dodge is doing cool stuff for real American men like me.
Wow,
that's right. That's right.
We ain't no Ridgeline buyer over here.
Yeah, no. Instead, it's a plug-in hybrid Volvo XC90 buyer. When I think real American men, I think plug-in hybrid Swedish luxury SUV.
We decided that the Volvo is probably too coastal elitist, and so we're going to go with the Kia Sorento, which according to Bridgeport, New Jersey's Kia dealership,
in Georgia,
may be built in America. So there you go.
It's assembled in Georgia. Take that as you will.
And it's a smoking deal.
You can get better than
Wait, are we confirmed about the Sorento? Are we actually doing
You
that?
hear that? Tommy from courtesy Kia, I can get a better deal.
Gilbert, Arizona?
I do believe that.
Can you negotiate for me the same way you did for Doug on his purchase, where we got it for sticker, and then they declined to work with you further?
Turns out the Sorento plug-in hybrid is a little bit less in demand than the Sequoia TRD Pro.
Oh my God, we wanted to test drive one. It took them 30 minutes to find the car. They're like, we have buried this so far in the lot because no one has ever asked us to drive one before.
Especially in Gilbert, Arizona. For sure.
Yeah, they have one in stock, and he was trying to pull the we only have one left. Like, do you want to put a deposit now? And I'm like, no. You'll still have it. Don't worry. Like, we'll be in touch.
All right, move on to our next news story, please.
I like how many times we talked about the Sorento plug-in hybrid. I would never be allowed to talk about the Sorento plug-in hybrid on this podcast.
Sponsored by Kia Sorento Hybrid.
But like,
most
it's a
people have
I
forgotten
can never
it
talk
exists.
about.
Nick, I actually have a friend who has one. If you want to chat with her.
I don't want your advice.
Well, I'm not saying my advice. I'm saying you can ask her what her experience has been. She lives in Georgia. That was a factor in her buying the car.
Wow.
Really? Okay.
So when I asked
Georgia
that question, it was a loaded one.
You know, my wife actually was getting her research was done not through ChatGPT, not through like your videos. Her preferred method of research was to take Ubers in the car of choice. So we got an XC90 Uber because these guys are in the car all day long. Yeah, you can. You can be like, how do you like it? Has it been reliable?
What do you mean you can't ask? Filippo, every time I'm in an Uber, the only thing
their car is their most important purchasing decision.
I'm picturing Nick's wife calling an Uber, car shows up, canceling. Calling another Uber, car shows up, canceling. Calling another Uber, car shows up, canceling.
You know what? The XC90s
it was easy,
pretty easy to find. We haven't found a Sorento
the day
Uber driver
texted,
yet.
I was in a Sorento hybrid.
You should have asked
Uber. I should have asked. All right, back to actual news. Ford and Geely, we talked a few weeks ago about how there were rumors of them partnering.
Yeah, we already covered this.
No, but now it's official. Ford has a plant in Valencia, Spain that is they're forming a joint venture with Geely, which is a Chinese manufacturer. They're going to be building a multi-energy crossover for Ford, a new member of the Bronco family, and then they're going to also be building 2 electric Geely SUVs for the European market at this kind of joint venture factory.
All right,
where they're going to get Polestar?
In Europe, I think there's a lot more Chinese.
So no U.S. market cars through this partnership? No. All right. If your name is Greg, a 47-year-old suburban dad driving a Honda Ridgeline to get 7 bags of mulch from Home Depot, then I have just the thing for you to spice up your life a little bit. You see, you're probably wearing the same swim trunks you've been wearing forever, some Hanes off-brand stuff that isn't exactly cool. But today's episode is sponsored by Chubbies. And honestly, Chubby's is the bomb. I wear their swim trunks on all of my family beach excursions, and sometimes I almost forget I have shorts on. Their 4-way stretch is no joke, especially when you're climbing in and out of your Range Rover convertible. And best of all, they just look cool. They're the right length, they've got fun patterns. They spice it up so that you're no longer Greg, a Honda Ridgeline driver, but you're like Crazy Nick. Cool, effortless, and with great thighs. Their new summer vacation lineup just dropped at the perfect time. Bold prints, fabrics that drive fast, and enough inseam options that every guy finds his fit. Straight from cannonballs to cold ones, 0 wardrobe changes are required. And you can get 20% off with code DOUG. Once the sun's down, I'm in their original shorts, the pair I actually reach for the most. Comfortable, stretchy, goes with everything, and they've survived more road trips than half my closet. For a limited time, Chubby's is giving this CarPod listeners 20% off with code DOUG at chubbyshorts.com. That's code DOUG at chubbyshorts.com. Support the show, tell them we sent you, and don't blend into the crowd of Greg's driving Honda Ridgelines. Stand out with Chubby's.
All right, move on to the next news story, please. Oh, here's the news story. My favorite car in the whole world. You know, all right, so you want me to tell you the story? Here's the story. Sequoia.
For audio listeners, do you want to say what it is or nah?
Sequoia TRD Pro is getting a facelift for 27. And they're getting front hooks, recovery hooks, which is a big deal. And there's a bunch of other BS that nobody cares about. And I was thinking about this. My dog was driving my Sequoia the other day.
Yeah.
And
he's a good driver, it seems like.
My Sequoia I dearly love. And I'm so pumped for this facelift because I can't wait to get another one when the time is right.
My understanding is that nothing has changed. Except for a new model.
I didn't realize it was a facelift. I thought it was just new colors. Did they change anything?
Facelift is a very strong word.
Every year there is a new color for TRD Pro. Like since they started doing this in 15, each year has heralded the arrival of a new color. And so this year the new color is some sort of gold. I don't know. I don't care. But none of the colors ever look good on the Sequoia because it's just too big, so it doesn't really matter. But they also updated the front end styling, and they gave it front recovery hooks. And this is the greatest car in the whole world. I cannot explain to you. My car right now is covered in mud inside and out. And I drove it in that situation. My dog drove it in a different application. Nick, why don't you consider getting a Sequoia TRD Pro, pal?
It is a hybrid.
Not a plug-in. But
not a plug-in.
And we want smaller. However, Doug, the most important thing here that I can tell from this image is that the fenders are now gloss and probably not camouflage.
I don't think that's true.
I don't think that's true.
There's blacked out trim on the front now, but the fenders still appear to be camouflage. I do want to say two things. So there's a new trim of the Sequoia. There's a new trim as well, which is a Trail Hunter. It's actually a package. So on the SR5, which is kind of the base Sequoia, you can now get a Trail Hunter package that adds Old Man Emu suspension components.
Oh, cool.
Adds the drive.
So you don't.
It adds the drive select with crawl control on the base model. That's pretty cool.
You wouldn't need the TRD Pro with the camouflage.
Right.
You could get everything you needed through a base.
Well, the base car doesn't even have the hybrid power. The TRD Pro is God's car. You know, I'm up here. There's all these Land Cruisers around, and I'm really sad that I don't have the old Land Cruisers. The new Land Cruiser obviously is, and the people buying them are posers. But the old Land Cruiser, which was so great, I'm seeing them all around, and I'm so jealous. The Sequoia TRD Pro is the Land Cruiser of the modern era. It's just the way it is. It's a slightly different buyer. But
different vibe. I am a little confused by the Trail Hunter versus TRD off-road packages, but Toyota's adamant that they can coexist. As far as I can tell, the main difference is that the Trail Hunter has Old Man Emu suspension. The TRD off-road has Bilstein suspension.
Toyota doesn't. What I've learned from the Sequoia is that Toyota doesn't really know what to do with the off-road Sequoia. They figure they might as well offer it because they do it for Tundra. But they don't understand. They didn't put front hooks on it because they didn't think that anyone would care using this thing as a 3-row off-road. They thought it would all be a poser mobile. But there are some of us, and I consider myself one of us, who legit use the car. And it's the greatest thing I ever had. Nick, I can't believe you're not interested in one of these.
I'm interested in the 4Runner because that is 3-row in a more compact size. There is a hybrid, although you can't get hybrid in 3-row and all that jazz.
3-row 4Runner is bad because you can't get any of the cool stuff. You can't get any of the off-road stuff. You can't get the turbo.
Right. You got to get the deep bass. Although you can get it in a cool color. Like I briefly considered it, but I think we were set on a plug-in, and so that got rolled out.
The new color, by the way, is called Honeycomb, but actually there's 2 new colors. And Nick, I would like for you to look at this picture. 3 of these cars are Honeycomb. One of these cars is Hot Honey. Guess which is a different color than the others?
The 4Runner pops a little bit more, but that is, 5% different.
The 4Runner is indeed the Hot Honey, not Honeycomb.
Let me ask you a question.
They all look orange to me.
My car's got 24,000 miles on it now, my Sequoia. It's a 24.
Congratulations.
Presuming the engine doesn't explode.
Yeah.
When would you stop driving the car across the country?
If we drove our station wagon across the country when it had like 105,000 miles, I would drive my station wagon across the country today, and it has 125,000 miles.
Okay, but like pretend you're me, where you're like you're not going to break down in Memphis.
It depends on maintenance.
Pretend you're not you, and you pretend you're me.
I've never had a car breakdown, knock on wood. But also, if it's you will need to spend more in maintenance at a certain point because you'll want to do a bunch of things preventively before you drive across the country and are away from service as you are right now. But cars are fine. Cars are good.
I mean, the Land Cruiser was notorious for being good for 200,000-300,000 miles without any major hiccups.
Would you drive a 300,000-mile Land Cruiser across the country?
I would. You probably wouldn't.
You would. The difference
I think you've got at least 100,000 miles on this before you need to start worrying about reliability.
I agree. I think I've got many years left, except for the fact that we know these engines are exploding and Toyota is not stepping up to warranty and recall them.
Yeah, we're still waiting on the deep dive on that. It's going to happen.
Oh, I got to do it when I get back. I have to be in studio to summon the amount of anger that I have about this issue. It is really kind of the absolute low point in Toyota's entire manufacturing and history in the United States, including when those floor mats were killing all those people. Including that, this is the absolute low point in Toyota's history.
I look forward, and I feel bad preemptively for all the Toyota employees that are going to be called into 9 a.m. Friday meetings an hour after this podcast goes out to have a little conversation.
They're not recalling the hybrids because they can move on electric power. There will be no Toyota employees left if my powertrain explodes and I have to move on hybrid power. There will be no Toyota.
For legal reasons, that is not a threat, not a physical threat. He means as a company.
It's one of the most embarrassing cop-outs in the entire history of the automobile. Don't you agree, Filippo?
No comment. Let's move on to the Maverick.
Nick, this is the most exciting news story of the week. I can't believe you don't care about this.
I'm positive you insisted on cutting it.
I made sure we kept it.
No, we cut the next story.
Filippo vetoed your veto.
This is the Maverick SV300T.
No, Nick, you weren't paying attention through any of that. The next story we cut. This is the coolest thing that's ever happened. They're putting like a Mustang level of power in a Maverick. Yeah. It's got 300 horse.
But it's done by a third party.
No, it's not. Okay, it's really weird. So starting in the fourth quarter of this year, you can go to Ford and buy the SV300T kit, or they'll just be available on the lot with the SV300T kit. And it's fully Ford backed. So basically what it does is it takes a larger supercharger from the EcoBoost Mustangs and puts it on these. And so you get power goes from 250 horsepower to 300 and 277 pound-feet of torque to 350 pound-feet of torque. There's also like an upgraded intercooler, Borla exhaust, graphics, wheels.
It's a
you can also, by the way, so this is a Lobo, which is already the performance suspension. You can also get a slightly more expensive kit and get all of that suspension stuff and transmission calibration, which turns it to a 7-speed from an 8-speed for all the other Maverick trims as well.
Cool.
There's like a hot Maverick. It's cool.
To be clear, it's a turbocharger, not a supercharger. Nick,
that's a supercharger. Apologies.
The important thing here, Nick, it's called the SV300T.
Yeah.
SV300T. SVT is back, Nick. This should be your most exciting thing of the year.
I love and adore SVT, and I also love mod. So, no, I think it's really, really cool. I thought we killed it because Ford wasn't doing it. A separate party was doing it, and Ford was just backing it.
Yeah.
Much like when Celine designed the Ford GT, and Ford took the credit for it, but it was really built by Steve Celine and Molly. It's very similar to that.
Yeah,
There's more truth to that than most people would realize, but I don't know that Molly had much to do with it.
Molly runs Celine Performance Parts, which is all their aftermarket part manufacturing, and then Steve runs the vehicle side of things. So I think they probably work together.
Contribution to the 05 Ford GT was significant. Yeah. Very, very significant.
By the way, the package, which includes all the things but not installation, is about $5,000 for the XLT and the Lariat.
That's a
which
steal!
Includes all the suspension stuff.
That's not bad at all.
Labor they expect will be $3,000 to $5,000
because we just talked about the Rumblebee being close to $100K.
Exactly.
This is like a bargain hot rod.
And if you start with a Lobo, which already has the suspension components, it should be notably cheaper because it's just a supercharger.
Nick, this is a $46,000 truck, 300 horse, 350 pound-feet, upgraded suspension.
It's cool.
20-inch wheels, a Borla exhaust. Are you telling me you're not interested in one of these? If I had to ask you to pick any new car, would it not be this?
If I needed a pickup, this would definitely be it. It's the right size. If I were cross-shopping this on a Honda Ridgeline, both would fit 6 bags of mulch. Yeah. I'm into it. If I am Greg, the prototypical 47-year-old suburban dad, which I'm shockingly close to.
Greg is not the prototypical customer for this car. This is cool. This is legitimately cool, and I think this is the coolest thing that's coming out of Ford these days.
I wish they made an SUV version of this too, because that would be sick.
That would be really cool.
A Bronco Sport with this stuff, that would be kind of cool, actually.
No, but keep the Maverick face, like just make it a Maverick with an enclosed bed that then gets converted to a third row.
We call that the Bronco Sport.
It's very different. By the way, there is a warranty, a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty.
That's pretty good.
Backdated to when the battery was purchased. If you're doing this,
You know, it's funny because I think often about how I wish I had money during like the heyday of cool cars. Like you could have bought stuff new. Yep. Like there are still a few cars out there that are like legit cool. And this is one of them. This is a street truck with actually more power and a Borla and big wheels from Ford. Like this is a pretty cool thing.
And honestly, I think the best part is the $5,000 because I initially was thinking, like I could change out the supercharger, put an exhaust on it. You can't do that for $5,000 anymore. Well, like there was a day when those mods were somewhat affordable, but especially even if you were just doing the pulley, by the time you had an exhaust, retune it, all that, you're in at $5,000, and it's never going to be as good as you. I mean, you'll void your warranty for one. So that cool combination of factors is a great value. You'd be silly to buy a Maverick and not do that if you're a car guy.
Of course, you should. Obviously, everybody should buy a Maverick hybrid, which this doesn't.
Remember the Ranger Splash? I still want one.
Yeah, but the Ranger Splash to that point was just
only
a
cosmetic
truck. It was cosmetic. Yeah. Like this is real.
This is real.
You got the turbo from the Mustang. This is like what you dream of as like a street truck guy. Filippo, aren't you kind of into this?
I'm super into this, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Again, I would buy the hybrid, which would preclude me from doing this, but yeah.
Is that the end of our Talk Cars segment?
We got one more news story, or maybe two more news stories.
I mean, our news segment?
We got two more real quick.
Oh, boy, we're going to talk about this.
Aventadors have some drama around them right now.
Nick, have you been following this?
I have. It's funny because it's been actually... For those of us in the community, it's not necessarily a news story. It's a renewed news story because one was publicly withdrawn from another auction site where it was like very obvious there was a mileage blocker. Like the Carfax showed multiple service records past the currently advertised mileage.
So, but back up a second. What's the concern?
Problem is on Aventadors as well as Huracans and other vehicles for that matter, but especially prolific for whatever reason on newer Lamborghinis, it is pretty easy to install a mileage blocker, which plugs into your OBD2 port. You can buy it through a lot of sketchy websites.
Nick is not familiar with any of them.
I won't tell you how to find it, but it's not that hard. You plug it in, and then basically it just stops recording any new mileage. It blocks the signal between the car to say, hey, keep adding that. So there still will be signs in most cases. Like it'll show engine hours are really high, but the mileage isn't there, different modules. Like there are ways that maybe a Lamborghini dealership could detect.
They can identify.
Depending on how it was done. But otherwise, like if you are selling courses in Miami and you want to keep the resale of your SVJ really good, or you're going on like a rally, plug this thing in and those 2,000 miles you drive on it will never show in the odometer, and then you dump it before anyone's the wiser. So a lot of these are out there. Sometimes it's easy to catch, like the Carfax has an obvious telltale sign.
Yeah.
Other times you pretty much need a PPI, and even then it's not a guarantee it gets caught. No. So it's causing a lot of the market then to say, oh, okay, these are million-dollar cars in the case of the SVJ, sometimes of which are oftentimes owned by unscrupulous people. Should we be wary of valuing them as high? There was another guy on Instagram who said he PPI'd 6 different Aventadors, and all of them had signs of sketchiness with the odometer, and he declined all of them. Again, who knows if he's saying that just for the clout, but I think there is something there that maybe, just maybe, on these cars, you ought to be careful.
I got to tell you, I love a good rollback. Rollbacks are rare. Like back in the day, you could roll back an odometer. But like in the era of Carfax and the internet and service records and digitized everything, like rollbacks are tough to do. And this particular car that was withdrawn, it was so clear. So obviously had been rolled back fraudulently. And everybody's like, oh, we didn't know. Anyway, love a good rollback. Rare you find that, or odometer block, or whatever the hell it is. Rare you find it.
The beauty of it, though, on auction sites like Cars and Bids, is that the commenters come out in full force. Like, this wasn't live all that long, and like it went totally viral because everyone's like, I talked to this. I saw it a year ago at a different dealership. Like, people come out with the stories, and especially on like an SVJ, which is a pretty limited production vehicle, like people have done their due diligence, and there's enough folks out there with enough knowledge to catch them before it's too late. As long as it's transacting online, I worry more about the offline ones to an unsophisticated buyer where there's no comment gallery there to say like, oh no, this has red flags all over it.
It's funny how there's certain cars that develop, like if you're deep in that world, reputations. There are certain BMWs and Porsches from the 70s, 80s, 90s that are have often had like odometer gears when it was a physical thing fail. And so it's kind of known, all right, well, maybe I should be suspect about that. It's well known that a lot of Dodge SRT products are easy to steal.
In the case that you just mentioned, like those cars, it wasn't typically nefarious. It just sort of, they broke.
But there's like certain cars that are just, you kind of develop this reputation. I feel like for a while, Lamborghini has had, there's been some knowledge that it's actually maybe easier than in some other cars to tamper with the odometer.
Don't you love the fact that like Lambo to this day still attracts this type of buyer? Like Lambo is just a killer at like finding these, the Miami course sellers. Like I'm here for it.
You think back to the iconic Ty Lopez video, Here in My Garage, Lamborghini Gallardo. Like it has been the poster child of course sellers for literally 20 years to the point where it's just like, of course.
My Countach back there, lovely car, amazing. If they had been selling courses in 1983, they would have been doing it out of the trunk of the Countach. Love it. I just love that it's happening. Love the whole situation because it's absolutely absurd. And I love that these people are so afraid of resale value and all that stuff that they have to do this. I wish I could get a mileage blocker for my Carrera GT. I would daily it then.
Well, I think the problem is the type of people who buy this are probably pretty leveraged versus the type of people who buy a Carrera GT are probably comfortably affording it.
Many years ago, I bought a 2007 Mercedes-Benz E63 AMG wagon, an S211. Nick later bought a similar but worse car from a guy in Indiana, and he told me that he had owned a 993 twin turbo. And he said he was driving along one day, and he was sort of randomly at a stoplight or something, feeling under the dashboard, and he felt a little button. And he pressed the button. He didn't know what it did. He pressed the button, and was driving, and then nothing happened. And then he realized the odometer had stopped turning. And he told me that he took the car to his shop. He had the button taken out, and then he promptly sold the car. At that point forward, he had no idea what the mileage was and who had put the button in and when.
My 95 Ford Explorer, my first car, I realized there was a fuse that disabled the entire dashboard. So you didn't know your speed or RPM, but it also logged no miles. So if you wanted guilt-free miles in your clunker...
What was your use case for that button in 1990?
Well, I found it up by accident. I think that a fuse had blown, or I was wiring up a stereo and I was like trying to pull fuses. But then when I realized it, and you have that power and you realize it's that easy, it's kind of hard not to, right? Like if you had the button, like I agree I would get rid of that car, but I'd maybe push the button a couple of times before I got rid of it because like, I want some free miles on a 993 twin turbo.
Yeah, no, that's probably true. All right, we got to move on to the Talk Cars segment. The Talk Cars segment is brought to you by Ryan Lopez. Now, because I've not been in California, I haven't been able to see Ryan Lopez and hear of his antics. But I miss him.
Yeah, we all miss it.
So Doug, a good friend of ours got married over the weekend, Kevin, many of you know, and Ryan Lopez was invited to this wedding. So I got to see Ryan outside of a work context in the wild. And let me tell you what a treat it was. First of all, we went sailing Saturday night. He knows how to sail, and so him and I were talking sailing.
Yeah.
But then he headed off with my wife, and yeah,
you can't repeat the next part.
I can't repeat a lot of what happened, but
just can't repeat it on air.
Truly a gem to not just the car community, the sailing community.
By the way, if you also miss Ryan Lopez,
hang on. I speak for the entire audience when I say he hit it off with your wife and then you trailed off. What happened after that?
He's very gracious in sharing his Bumble chats as well. Every woman is described as a smoke show, and then he goes, check out the smoke show. And he does it like multiple times. So you just like, it's like this smorgasbord of young women who are very proud of their bodies and the chats that they have with Ryan Lopez. So like that alone was just entertainment for the whole weekend.
If you also miss Ryan Lopez, live as of 2 days ago when you're listening to this, on the Key channel, you can join Ryan and our other content creator, Joe, in driving across the country in a 100-year-old car. So go check that video out.
All right, next question from the.
I'm so sorry.
We're in a different
skipping a few areas.
No. I got a question from the Talk Cars segment. Nick, what do you think about Fauci?
The COVID guy?
The COVID guy. Yeah.
I mean, mistakes were made, but I think he was a public. What does this have to do with talk? I'm not going there. I am not going there.
Okay, no problem. All right, let's move on to another car thing. Ford Focus, GTI. Hey, Nick, you think 20 was stolen?
I have a couple of things I want to talk about related to cars. First of all, this Saturday, folks from Cars and Bits will be at Avants Fest at Pacific Raceways right outside of Seattle, Washington. If you aren't signed up, go to carsandbits.com/events and sign up to be there. Bring your car. We'll have a couple hundred cars out there, which is exciting. I will not be there, unfortunately, but a bunch of really cool people from our team, Eric and Alec, and I believe Elodie will all be up there.
Doug, speaking of Fauci and the 2020 elections. At this wedding, so the wedding is mostly car guys, right? Like it's all.
I was trying so hard.
All the car community, and people are having drinks. It's an open bar, etc. And because of this pod, people were coming up to me from both extremes of the political spectrum, thinking I was on their side. So like one guy would be like, "Oh, Trump really screwed me over. Don't you agree?" And then the other one would be like, "Yeah, that Trump guy's awesome." And like they both thought I was one of them. Because
you're
of your comments constantly alluding one way or the other, and then people reading between. So thank you.
I've only ever said that you're a hardcore Trumper and that he's an NPR listening hybrid owner. That's
but
don't own a single
people know
hybrid.
not to take you serious. So some people think you are being ironic or sarcastic. Other people think you are dead serious.
Keep
Likewise
the mystique.
with me.
Keep the mystique alive.
I'm. My point of view is that politicians across the board are idiots. I would never have a bumper sticker for one. I would never idolize one.
Wow.
You put a bumper sticker on your car for the... Wait a minute.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. I have voted presidential candidates on both sides of the spectrum. I have now concluded they're all incompetent bozos who can't even pass a law like agreeing that daylight savings time is BS.
Yeah.
Like we can't even get that far. Therefore, they all deserve to lose their jobs, and none of them are worthy of respect or support.
People of Arizona figure that out. By the way,
In
you
Indiana.
own only V8s.
I do own only
That
V8s.
says a lot about you.
Does it?
Yeah.
I agree with your general
work from
point.
home.
It is unbelievable to me how bad the politicians are in general.
Can we get back to cars? No. Just for like a little bit.
And let's talk a little bit more about Fauci, huh?
Remember, these are the people that gave us license plates with the same number on them.
Yeah.
The same number. You know, I had to go really deep in the comments to find somebody who said, if license plates have the same number, what is the purpose of them? And it's like, yes, that's the point I'm trying to make. Okay, Filippo, tell us about your GTI. Is that still around?
No, the GTI was sold. I'm finally revealing now that the GTI has been out of my life for about 2 months. And I want people to know that because I needed that context to explain that you should drive your sports car. Because as a result, we have our station wagon.
Okay.
My wife travels a fair amount for work. She takes that car because what else would she take? And therefore, I've been daily driving the 911 around. And you can just do that. You can just do that with all your sports cars. You can just go out and drive them, and
it's a revelation
drive to LA. No, but some people need reminders of this. You can just do that. It's okay.
Speaking of So at this open bar, Filippo's wife, lovely person.
Yeah. She is
She
lovely.
let it slip. So allegedly,
I made a mistake
Filippo's
in
not
bringing this
driving
up.
the F-250 because, my wife can't pick out the wheels and tires. It's her car.
Yeah.
She was like, that is the most outrageously BS thing I've ever heard. I picked them out months ago.
That's inaccurate,
Filippo
too.
has been trying to negotiate a deal or get it for free for months, and that is the reason why I
That's
don't
only-
have tires and can't
That's
drive my
only
truck.
partially inaccurate, but thankfully, thanks to some
The marital
sponsor.
She was
truck is
livid
creative.
at that accusation that it was her
that
fault.
accusation. I appreciate you bringing that up.
There's nothing more exhausting in our lives than the ownership of this pickup truck. Nick, I heard you sold some cars as well.
I sold the Focus and the P38.
Whoa, big day.
The Focus wasn't that interesting. Finally, after probably 100 people asking, is this still available? Someone came through. They offered full ask. It's gone. The P38, though, was...
Wait, hang on. This Focus is a disaster car. What?
No, it has like 30,000 miles and it's on its 4th transmission, and it's fine.
Who's the person?
a nice single mom somewhere in Temecula or something.
Oh my God, you're saddling a single mom with this car?
The transmission was done less than 10,000 miles ago.
Yeah, but
She
it
got
was
a good
done
deal on it.
twice. It was done OE,
But
and then what happened?
That's not his fault. That is Ford and their debacle with power shift.
She will be fine. The P38 owner, on the other hand, is the more questionable one. So
Wow.
I sell all my cars through Cars and Bids. I made a rare exception not to, all my enthusiast cars anyways, because my friend Joe from the Lost Cause Ranch posted on Facebook saying, I am looking for a project Land Rover within ideally 700 miles of Ouray, Colorado for the Land Rover Nats. Anyone looking to sell? And I was like, this guy, he has 20 Land Rovers.
Ooh.
He chopped one into a 6x6 pickup
Oh.
and doing an LR3 into a pickup now. He's like the ultimate Land Rover hoarder, and he's on 2 P38s, both of which he ended up scrapping for parts
Yep.
because they were too far gone.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, compared to the other P38s he's had, he's going to think mine's nice because it runs and drives. And he's got a Sawzall. He's got the tools and the knowledge to keep
A
this thing on.
Sawzall is the main tool mentioned when you're talking about the tools
I
needed
have
to own a
used the Sawzall on my
P38.
first P38 to get the bumper off. They sometimes need that, a little persuasion. So he ended up, we talked a little bit, and within an hour, he sent the money, agreed to buy it, and drove it from my house Friday night, all 900 miles to Colorado by Sunday morning.
Wow.
Without incident. And from there on,
So much buzzing though, because the radio, the speakers buzz.
You
That's-
turn the speakers off, and it's fine. So we got rid of that car, Doug. After
What'd you sell that for?
that's not important.
What did you sell it for? 4?
I sold it for almost identical to the Ford Focus. Joe's going to
5.
fix it the rest of the way and sell it for profits, and he's probably going to sell it on Cars and Bid. So I don't want to reveal the sale price, other than I lost at least half of what I put into it.
Yeah,
You lost 6. You sold it for $6,000. You lost $6,000. That's
in
wild.
that same day, if you combine the sale price of the Focus and P38, I think you still lost money.
It wasn't. Look. I don't do cars for the money or the investment.
Yep.
I do it for the love. Okay?
The love of the game.
I had a lot of love for the P38. My wife had a lot of love for the Focus. So it was a tough day in my household.
So you're down to the SLR and the Cayenne and the E55. Is that all?
And the Range Rover.
And the Range Rover convertible.
The convertible Range Rover. What's the story there?
I'm in the search for a good upholstery shop. There was a small tear in my Range Rover convertible top. And actually, after driving to the Land Rover dealership to drive a used R1S,
As you do at the Range Rover.
all of a
dealership.
sudden there's this like flapping noise, and it was really loud and really violent. I'm like, oh, it must be windy out today, whatever. We get there, and there is a tear through the convertible top, end to end. Like huge, you could fit people inside of this tear. Newport Convertible Engineering finally replied to one of my emails because I offered the money and said that they want $7,500 to replace the convertible top, which is going to be a no for me, dog. So
Are you sure? I mean, doing that's actually honestly replacing a convertible top on a G-Wagon. I've been on my convertible G-Wagon. I've been quoted 3 times that, and also $7,500 to get it done by the people who did it in the first place.
You think that's reason? I thought convertible tops were like, I don't know, $1,000 or $2,000.
Well,
wanna find out?
this is a bespoke convertible top.
That's the problem.
I don't know, but to me, $7,500 to get it like back to new, I don't know what your plans are for the car, and I don't know what the car is worth. There's like no comp ever, so we have no idea. It doesn't sound that unreasonable to me, especially because you presume also sending it back to the people who did it in the first place. It'd be nice for them to take a look at some of the mechanisms. I mean, the top was probably done 10 plus years ago or 10 years ago when it was a new car.
2016, exactly 10 years ago. Yeah, and they gave me like, they wanted to do all the rubber gaskets and stuff is like $600. A new tonneau covers $900. So I'd probably be
Nick, that's not the worst deal. Like for $8,000, you get a brand new convertible top and all new rubber gaskets, and the people who did it have a look at it. Like from a service record point of view, when you go to sell it, you get some of that money back, being able to be like, look, these guys did the new top.
Filippo, after you're done negotiating my Kia Sorento plug-in hybrid, are you down to
I think
get me a deal here?
I'll call a couple of shops. I mean, when I had an NB Miata, the top had a lot of holes. And I just used like Amazon.
That's what I have. That's my current solution.
Top repair.
Yes.
That works pretty well. Something to consider. You should call some upholstery shops. Just kind of see what happens.
Yeah. No,
if you get like a boat focused one, it might be cheaper.
That's exactly where I'm going. And they actually said they're finishing up a yacht, and then I can bring it in for inspection.
There you go.
We'll see.
Solution.
But Doug's maybe not wrong that having the like service record showing that the people who did the conversion have like done a once over and confirmed it's still. Yeah. Like, I'm sure they will find other stuff to fix.
Because honestly, if you were buying it and when you were buying it, that was one of your biggest concerns. Like, this is some random thing. Like, if you had that record there, you'd be like, okay, well, this is definitely, that's valuable. That's like desirable.
The current plan is not to sell it anytime soon.
Keeping that
much
for
like
life.
your G-Cab, like, it's just a special car that's hard to replace and that we really enjoy. It's funny, like, people, it's become so recognizable too. Yeah. Like, of all the cool cars I've owned, like people will text us being like, I saw your car here. And like it's kind of a crazy car. It would be hard to let go of.
Yeah. My G-Cab, by the way, very special, very crazy, hard to let go of. I do plan to sell it in the next 6 weeks. What else we got? You're looking for a car for your family. We talked about it a little earlier. Are you committed to the Sorento? Is that true?
It's either that or an XC90. I mean, that's
good choices.
It's about a $20,000 price difference to say I don't drive a Kia. And then also the Volvo is such a... although I stand by the comment that the Lexus is more Karen vibes, the XC90 is a close second. Like, it's Karen and her sister Krista. Like, it's not...
It's a hard... Like, the issue that I have with the XC90... The XC90
it's
is
also
great.
10 years old.
It's an old product at this point, and if you care mostly about the technology, like, I hate the facelifted XC90 screen that looks literally tacked on. The Kia infotainment does a great job of CarPlay, etc.
Yeah.
The Volvo, though, is a great product and is...
The other problem with the Volvo is it only comes in like very muted beige-ish shades of beige. Like the Kia I can get in Cityscape Green, which is a really cool color.
It's a good color.
And they also have
amber
like
turn signals, right?
They have a cool like navy blue. Like, you can do some things to make that look cool. The XC90 we have to wrap because I can't
wrap it. You can't
you just spend $8,000 to wrap an XC90. So instead of beige,
I've already DM'd our friend Braden at Elite Finish to do British Racing Green on it potentially.
You know what color looks great on those XC90s is that bursting blue. I don't know if they still offer it. It looks amazing. Filippo, do they still offer that?
I don't.
No, they've gotten rid of every.
They got rid
color.
of all the good colors, and also the T8 was always a little more muted.
You guys are not color
blue,
people.
Black,
I got a lot of crazy colors on my cars. You guys are boring muted colors. But I'm a color person.
A white Sequoia, a white Countach, a silver Carrera GT. A white station wagon, a silver, what color? The Ford GT is blue.
I got a blue Ford GT. I got a red Supra. Maybe you've seen it. I've owned it for months. No.
How do you know it's red? Maybe they sent the wrong one, like Kenan's Ferrari 355.
All right, time to move on to the next segment, which is, of course, the Market Report. The Market Report, which is brought to you by Cars and Bids. Folks, Cars and Bids is the reason we're all here today. It's the name of the game. It's our platform. This is where we sell cars. This is where we buy cars. This is a better auction site than the place where they're rolling back odometers. Not that I'm saying anybody's doing that anywhere. Woo! Nick, you got any positive things to say about Cars and Bids here?
I love Cars and Bids.
There you go.
I have bought many vehicles on Cars and Bits. Well, actually, no, I've only bought one. I've sold many vehicles on it. I intend to buy more. Right now, my watch list on Cars and Bits is phenomenal. Let's see here. Let me just pull this up here, because this is the kind of diversity you get. I got a V10 E60 M5, an Audi A4 that has been converted to a pickup truck and repainted in Sonoma green.
Yeah, that's cool.
Wait, what?
Yeah. It ends today as we're filming this.
It's not even the coolest.
It's one of the Smith conversion ones.
Yeah, and a manual, of course. There's a G55 that's clean and supercharged and has the rear jump seats, which I didn't even know was a thing that you could do rear jump seats in a G55.
Yeah. It's not OE. It's not OE, but in some markets it was like kind of a dealer installed. Yeah, you see those here and there.
Cool? Like, forget a Defender. Like, give me a jump seat in a G55.
Totally.
And then you have an XJR that has a Magnaflow exhaust.
Oh, wow.
Like, literally everything for everyone here.
I didn't see this A4. This is unbelievable. Is this a B7?
Yeah, and he's got the peelers on it, what we Audi people call those wheels.
Yep.
It's pretty. It looked really well done. In terms of, you know how some people are like, oh, like, I worry about how much money I spent, like my P38, and I'm going to lose all this money. This dude built this out of passion, knowing he is going to lose every penny he invested in it.
and it's in Quebec. To make matters even worse, it's in Canada.
It's in Quebec. Yes, it's not going to pass smog in California. He repainted it, but put all that aside and just, I mean, the level of detail that went into it, the roll pan on the rear, like, it is so cool. I want this for my 6-pack of mulch from Home Depot.
Hey, Doug, without reading the listing, what are the taillights from?
I'm looking right now and I'm trying to figure it out. Let me see.
And the reverse lights, they are from different vehicles.
The reverse lights, I've seen those reverse lights before.
You know, honestly, this is some Carrera GT look.
Wait, the reverse lights, you know what the reverse lights are from is the HHR.
Yeah.
The tail lights.
Don't you think this is a low Carrera GT?
Yeah.
The LEDs part of it, yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I thought the Carrera GT taillights look like American flags.
I have no idea. What is it?
2009 Acura MDX.
Huh.
MDX.
Yeah.
Huh. When do you think it hit him? Like, I'm going to do MDX. Do you think he just had a set? You know what I mean? Like, there's no rhyme or reason to it, right? Like, he didn't design it around the MDX tails.
Smith Performance may have recommendations. I don't know.
Yeah.
That is really cool. Anyway, the Cars and Bids, greatest platformer in the world or something. Filippo, Filippo, you pumped for this ZR1 auction? When does that
I am pumped. This ends by the time people are listening, but you reviewed the ZR1. It's owned by one of the folks from Mothers, who is our car care partner, who are awesome. And it's the car you want. If you're into real Corvettes, aka one set of a manual, this is the best one.
This thing is so cool. You know, Filippo, my buddy Dave, who is here with me on the East Coast, he bought a Corvette this summer, and I just drove it.
It made it great.
I just drove it this week, and boy,
he bought a C5. Help him ship it.
Fantastic.
You know what? It doesn't suck. It doesn't suck.
See, all Corvettes are good. I should have just bought a C5.
At every price point, you kind of get what you deserve.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the C5 punishes you a little bit, but you cheaped out, and like it's still really fun. Yes, but like the noises of the plastic rubbing together and buttons falling off will kind of punish you according to the cheapness that you put in.
So true. You get what you deserve.
Can I talk about a couple of actual sales we've had recently?
Yeah.
I want to start with one that I want Nick to talk about because I don't care about Lamborghinis. But we sold an STO for $485, which, to my understanding, is the highest auction result on an STO ever.
Yeah, and great. It was a great bidding war at the end. Like a lot of it. It was a fun one to watch, and we all watched it because Ken and I represented it, and we went to cheer on our buddies. But yeah, it did really, really well. I remember when the STO, so when it first came out, we had a buddy who bought one. Like, I think sticker on these was like low 400s. And then it dipped down to like the 300s if you track the secondary market. This is the first one I've seen where they've started to have public transactions above what they originally stickered for, which is really I do think that
sticker, by the way.
They're super cool cars.
It's so cool. You know, the Huracan in general is an awesome car. I love the Huracan in general, but the and my favorite is the Strato personally. But like the bodywork on the S2 is cool. Like it almost doesn't look like a Huracan. It like looks like a different and more special creature. It's the wide body and the bizarre the little strakes on the engine lid.
It's like the Diablo GT to the regular Diablo, where like they change enough panels that it's hard to think of it in the same way you think of a Huracan. Like it is a distinct vehicle.
Yeah.
I want to talk about one other car too, which is the Rivian R2. We have a Rivian R2 live right now.
Yeah.
But we also sold one last week for $63,500, which is really interesting because that's about $2,000 above MSRP for one of these.
Yep.
And what when the R1S came out and when the R1T came out, which was the first Rivian to come out, we were selling them left and right for notably over sticker.
Yeah.
But that's because they couldn't build them quickly enough to satisfy the demand. Clearly, the launch of the R2, some quality issues aside, because there have been a bunch of reports of some quality issues with the earliest ones, it seems like they're building them. They're delivering them, they're building them, and therefore they're worth sticker.
The situation's a little more complicated than that. When the R1 came out, they also jacked up the price of new ones if you hadn't had an initial deposit. And so there were a lot of people who were flipping the early ones and getting a ton more than their deposit over, because the sticker price had changed. Number two, I think R1 buyers are less price sensitive than R2 buyers. I think there were people in the R1 world who were willing to pay big money to be first, whereas the R2 world is more of a buyer who would wait 6 months to get a car at the right number because they don't want... Being first to have an R2 is definitely not the prize that being first to have an R1 was 3 years ago. Nonetheless, it is interesting. I'm happy to see these cars live on the site. I love the R2. I think the R2 is going to kill the R1, frankly, even though Rivian insists it won't. Very desirable car, and the market is relatively strong because it's a very desirable car. Nick, why don't you look at one of these? Yep.
We did. We test drove an R1S, not because we went the third row. It's not a plug-in hybrid, as you noted before, which is sort of its main drawback. I enjoyed driving it, but the regenerative braking definitely takes some getting used to. Yeah. So, the test drive did not sell the vehicle because we were both driving. My wife joked I had to take out a apology ad in the newspaper for how badly I drove because we just kept going like this the whole time. But I think you drive it a week, you get used to that.
You really get used to driving the car week last week. But
up at Encinitas, they're still using the newspaper for their apology ads, people.
Yeah. Isn't that what you do, I presume? The Nantucket Current or whatever it would be called?
The Inquirer.
The R2 is such a compelling product. It'll be interesting to see where the performance one, which is a little more desirable to trim, I guess it's actually the same. Slightly better equipped than the other one, where this one lands.
All right, it's your money. It's your money, Filippo. You buying this or a Mach-E for a really good deal?
I don't think I could ever convince myself to... I spent more than this for the 911, but not by that much, and I don't think I convinced myself to spend this for my daily drive.
Filippo, the cars ending today...
For half the price, yeah.
The cars ending today are the greatest cars we've ever had live. This Nissan Pulsar, which looks like a Sentra, but with a rounded off tailgate. Are you not
familiar with the Pulsar?
Huh?
Are you not familiar with the Pulsar?
This particular Pulsar, though, is later than the USA Pulsars. This looks like the late 90s Sentra with a rounded off back. Then you didn't tell me we had a really clean Grand Prix GTP. Why didn't you tell me that?
I should have, because it's so cool. One owner, less than 20,000 miles, unmodified.
Nick, you're not interested in this? This is a blown 3800.
I do remember those when they were new. That was a hot car new. Now I don't know if there's quite the following it once had, but they were cool.
It's so cool.
And then there's that 6-wheeled Raptor.
Yeah.
Folks, Cars and Bids delivers the finest machines. Okay, should we move on to questions?
I want to say out loud, there's so many great cars live, period. And if you're in the market for an LC, a Lexus LC, figure it out, because boy, has the market gone wild.
Why are we the place that everybody's selling their LCs all of a sudden? And Cars and Bids is like LC Depot.
There's
so many LCs.
We have 3 a week.
There's so many LCs talk about it constantly, what a hidden gem it is and how great they are.
I don't understand the market for these at the moment. They're ending production after this year. But this 2026 convertible, which was admittedly a good color, well spec'd, for $157. MSRP on it this year was $120. So it's selling for way above MSRP. This 2021 sold for $95. We've sold all of these that are just getting such high interest and demand, which is great, but I don't fully understand why now. Why is that now? I also wonder how they're selling at dealers. Is it tough to get an LC now that they're ending production? I don't know.
I don't know, but every time one of these comes live on the site, I think to myself, damn, I want one of those.
I know,
I can
so
just tell this is going to be a desirable car. Yeah. It just is. I want to move on to the questions, which this week were not good. So I want to tell people again how to ask the questions. You go to carsandbids.com, go to carsandbids.com, Filippo. You click on the community tab at the top, and then there's a post somewhere that says podcast questions. Now, sometimes Ryan Lopez forgets to make the post, but for God's sake, people, ask us questions. Write in. If you ever had a question for Filippo, if you ever wanted to know why he is the way he is, this is your opportunity.
I can't get that deep on that at any given moment. But by the way, there were 369 questions last week. Were none good?
I had to go so deep down to find good questions that were like real sink your teeth into, rather than like, if you could put a manual in any car. It's very important that we have like good thought-provoking questions, because if you have a basic non-thought-provoking question, Nick will not pay attention.
Oh, it's so true.
You lose Nick. So, Nick, this first question is actually for you. Metal Max, dear team members and Doug, but really it's for you. An Alfa Romeo dealership by me recently closed and opened up as an Ineos Grenadier dealership. How many more unsuccessful dealerships? How bad will Ineos be unsuccessful? What dealership will replace them in 9 months when they close? A great question.
The dealership that will replace them is Mitsubishi, which will then also last a subsequent 9 months.
No, I don't think Mitsubishi's opening new dealers. I think you have to think of a brand that's like trying right now to like really break through the surface. It's going to be like a Polestar dealer or something.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. They're actually in the market, but opening in Minnesota.
Fisker version 3.
Fisker V3, nice.
3.
Instead of his wife as the CFO, it's going to be his daughter who
I do think a lot about Ineos.
took a Dave Ramsey course.
My presumption is that Ineos will fail. Filippo, do you have any thoughts on the topic?
I have not looked at Ineos sales numbers, frankly.
Oh, I mean, have you looked at their incentives?
No. 35,000 vehicles globally. Apparently, Q1 was a strong quarter, up 20% year over year. Maybe they'll succeed.
I think the car is cool. It's too expensive, and basically everybody who wants one has got one. And they need to iterate. Like we need something
different. They plan to grow 30% year over year.
It gives you not in terms of the look, but the Cybertruck had a okay first year. Then it just like dropped off a cliff because of Doug's point. Like everyone who wanted one got one, and there were no buyers left. And I personally like the Ineos Grenadier. Like if I had to choose a new SUV of that price point, like I could see it, but there's just not a lot of people who want to spend that much for that analog of an SUV, and they're probably tapped.
I suspect that they'll kind of keep continuing okay. Their development costs were high, but like at this point, they're not changing anything.
As an enthusiast, I love the idea. I love the brand. I think it's absolutely cool, but it is such a limited use case. Like it's very niche. They're gonna
two products,
and I don't know how you expand the product line.
And they're
two products in the pickup truck is not competitive because of its pricing, and just will never be. I'm here. My little town here on the East Coast is SUV heaven, and the Grenadier SUV is everywhere.
Yeah,
and I've only seen 2 of the trucks. The trucks just don't exist.
The chicken tax does apply to it on top of the other tariffs that also apply to it.
The chicken tax, Nick, they're taxing chickens for God's sake.
Yep.
Next question.
He's a vegan. He doesn't care.
I'm not a vegan.
From brand used Tesla FTW. This is a great question. Would you have reacted just as negatively to the Ferrari Luce if it looked like a proper Ferrari?
In that you don't think that the Ferrari Luce looks like a proper Ferrari? Is that what you're saying?
Here on this podcast, we say what Ferrari told us to say, and it's a great step forward for the brand. And
that would be the Puro Sangway.
Yeah.
Which, funny enough, I saw one Saturday. It was.
Wait. Hang on. No. Puro Sangway is opposite. It doesn't look like a proper Ferrari, but it has the powertrain of one. I think
it does look like a proper Ferrari to me, at least now in comparison. When I saw it on Saturday, I thought that looks really good. And actually, in person, it has a little bit more of like a car-like proportion.
It does.
Swooping lines. Like it now looks like a Ferrari to me.
The question's implication is, if this looked like an Enzo or an F50, but it was electric, would we still have had the same reaction?
Yes. I get why they felt the need to go to the extremes, because they were going to get a negative reaction either way. Clearly, there has not been strong market interest in electric supercars. The Rimacs, the Pininfarina Battista, no real interest fundamentally. And so I get why they felt like the path forward was to make something that was out of the norm and out of their normal mold, because they're going to get a negative reaction anyways. They may as well try to go towards a segment that has actual EV demand, which is more practical cars, something that you can drive around your European city.
And even a better example, I think, is the Taycan is actually a very good looking vehicle, as is the RS e-tron.
Yeah.
And even those were kind of flops in the long run. So you could even doing a really well designed sports sedan is still not going to be a hit based on the comps in the market, which is, so this is the only thing people haven't tried is let me find a sexier Nissan Leaf and put a Ferrari badge on it.
I disagree. I think if it looked really like a Ferrari, not even necessarily like a 296, but if they had gone maybe a little retro or something really like a Ferrari, I think that there would have been an outcry that they're going electric, but a lot of, they had to, sort of like when the Cayenne came out or the Bentayga or the Purosangue.
Sure.
I think that the fact that they not only went electric into a segment where we already know there's not a lot of demand, but did it with a frumpy four-door car really magnified the criticism on that car. And I think if they had really done it well with the fake shifting and a really cool look, I actually really truly believe it wouldn't have gotten that much hate. I still don't think it would have been a sales success,
Sure.
which obviously the Luce won't be either because it is.
Hey, they've sold out for 2026.
Allegedly.
What's that?
They have said this week that they have filled their order books for 2026.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I've
500
already
orders,
talked to people who are getting pressured into ordering them.
It's again the Cybertruck. Okay, there's going to be a certain demographic that needs to buy it to stay in their good graces.
Yeah.
Once those are tapped, good luck.
Doug, I don't necessarily disagree, but I don't think that any of Ferrari's recent designs, I don't think anything in their recent design book shows that they can design a car that people like. I don't think the A49 Testarossa looks particularly great. We've seen it recently at our Cars and Coffee. I don't think it's an appealing car. I don't think it looks great.
Well, the 296 is universally agreed to be beautiful.
But that at this point is not really their current styling direction.
I think that they would have had to go in a different way. I think a modern day F40 looking thing with an EV and the performance of a really crazy car, I think people would have been at least accepting of it. I think that adding to the shock of electric, which is not popular or desirable, with a not popular or desirable design, really magnified the criticism.
I agree with Doug. It seems like they gave themselves every handicap possible.
Yeah.
Like they could have, I agree, it never would be a smash success. The enthusiasts would never be proud of it, but they could have made it a lot less worse.
I will agree that it would have
good. People would have eventually warmed to accept it versus I think the Luce being a Nissan Leaf looking vehicle sort of dooms it from the start. Like it's going to be a much bigger window they have to crawl back from versus like, hey, otherwise like on paper it's leading, it looks cool. Like you could kind of learn to love the electric component of it and overlook that, as opposed to everything about it is bad. The interior's bad, or at least take some
Are you
getting
excited?
used to.
You're gonna see him everywhere at Car Week, Nick. Are you excited?
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah, they'll be around.
Oh yeah,
really.
The Ferrari is going to be driving them around as press cars to shuttle people around it because Ferrari's desperate now. They need to sell these things. They need.
Allegedly they're gonna sell VIN 1 or 001 at RM at Car Week. Which, last year, remember, they sold the SP3 for like $26 million and it was a charity auction. The Luce will be a charity auction, so it'll be interesting to see. It clearly won't get the outsized result the SP3 did because, at the end of the day, at least you get an SP3 out of it for your donation.
The charity auction, it's going to sell for under sticker, despite the fact that it's
they're estimating $1 million is what I think RM put on it, which is not even double the sticker, as opposed to an SP3. I think is what a 3, 4 or a 4 sticker maybe.
Yeah,
like it got 6X.
They are saddled with. It doesn't look great. I do really understand trying to go a different direction for this product, but it could have looked better. Even if it didn't look like a traditional Ferrari, it could have looked nice. I also don't think it's that competitive. Like if first drives are out, by the way, it's the same journalists that did the first look, selected by Ferrari. They had to film everything on Ferrari cameras. Ferrari owned the footage and has kept the footage till now because that's when the embargo is. It's a whole thing. Credit to Marquez Brownlee and his autofocus channel. They were actually very upfront about how that all worked. But those are out.
What's his review though?
Yeah,
have you watched it?
It's on the Ferrari test track. It seems kind of fine.
I'm excited to watch that.
The Ferrari driver, like Ferrari person in the car with them, it's a weird look. Yeah. But what I was going to say is it's something like 950 horsepower, 1,000 horsepower. There's a bunch of drag races of the new Cayenne Turbo EV out, and that car is smoking everything. Carrera has done a bunch of drag races with it. The Ferrari isn't even that fast. The performance, I doubt, is actually up to par with the fastest EVs.
And remember, that's why fundamentally the Tesla Model S was so successful.
Yeah.
Is people weren't necessarily ready for EV yet, but they said the performance of this car is so good that it gives me a compelling reason to switch, and I can look past the fact that it's no longer an internal combustion engine. That's what Ferrari needed. They needed a car so compelling that people could look past the EV part, and instead they gave us the Luce.
Yep.
Okay, I need to move on to a few other questions, which are very good. In the midst of all the badness, we got some good. The best question comes from the entirety. Dear Doug and friends, the Stig Ben Collins just released a video on his channel saying the Carrera GT is his favorite car of all time. A lot to do with the engine design for F1, and he talks lap times with the SLR. Does this settle the debate about the engine's origin once and for all? No, I don't think it does. I really don't think it was really derived from F1. I think that's kind of a story that's told. I only say it to piss off Kenan. I did think that was an interesting video for a couple reasons. Did you watch that video, Nick?
I did, and I really enjoyed it. My takeaway was I think Ben Collins is either a fan of yours or watches this car pod, because how else is he getting all this footwork propaganda into it?
I think that, first off, it's incredibly flattering for anybody who's into the Carrera GT or has one or has always loved one, to hear that Ben Collins, who's one of the more accomplished, driven everything people ever, to say that it's the greatest driving car of all time. That's really cool. How about the fact that he wasn't even able to equal his old lap times in the car today?
Well, it's funny, and that was the craziest part. Again, I was like, this video was made for Doug DeMuro, because he specifically calls out, he's like, I think the springs over 20 years have lost a little bit of their firmness, and more or less implied you need to do a KW coilover conversion. He didn't say that part, but he said, I think the tires I would have expected to improve the times, but I think the tired suspension is holding it back.
And ergo, to be clear,
the audience concludes I need to
that opinion is not a Doug opinion. Anybody who drives their Carrera GT, anybody has replaced the suspension. Period. There's no exceptions to that. The only people who are still on old suspension are people with show cars, like 1,000-mile cars. Period. So that's not unusual in the community, unique to me or anything. There's hundreds of cars that have had suspension replaced. I also found it, but nonetheless, it was interesting that he didn't beat the lap time. He did say that we probably could beat it if I really started taking some risks. But obviously, it's a different situation when you're driving a $2.5 million car that belongs to a guy versus a $400,000 car that belongs to a company, like you did 20 years ago. The thing that I found also interesting was the comparison to the SLR. He said that he only got like a second faster in period in the Carrera GT versus the SLR on that track. How about that?
Yeah. Well, didn't he also say on the SLR, though, that Mercedes was really curmudgeonly about letting, they wouldn't let him drive. They had to use their drivers, and like they were very like odd about it in a way that was unusual. But yeah, no, I mean, the SLR is a serious car, despite no one caring or paying any attention to it today.
I agree. I agree with that. Yeah. Anyway, it was an interesting video. It's worth a watch. It gets a little technical in the second half, but it's interesting to hear him kind of go through in the first third of it, just talking about why he loves the car so much and all that. And that SLR tidbit was interesting. The SLR's time, in years later, we find out, was actually set by Mercedes' own drivers. I think they were very self-conscious of the fact that they were coming out with this sort of portly automatic supercar compared to their rivals coming out with these mid-engine Focus cars. But the SLR was and is a fantastic car that too many people overlook. Not Nick, though. Tell you that.
Not me. The other thing that I loved about the video was they just did such a good job at capturing it on the track. Like the angles of the videography, the sounds, like too many videos about the Carrera GT are just about like, oh, my paint this sample, I recommissioned it to have Pepita inserts. Like here is him driving the literal snot out of it, and then he does a lap, gets the lap time, and says, I'm going to push it harder. And then he does a lap time. I need to push it harder, to the point where he's like, if I push it any harder, I might die or total the car. But like, it was so fun to see someone drive a Carrera GT that aggressive.
I will say, coincidentally, Chris Harris also just released a video where he's bombing a Carrera GT. Yeah. And watching both those videos, both those videos get the sound really accurate. Having done 6,000 miles in the car, they are really good at getting the sound both inside and out. Although I can always tell when it's an inside sound versus an outside sound, and sometimes the camera is positioned on the outside, but you know the sound is on the inside.
You specifically know for sure.
Next question from Pinoti Belair. This is a great question. It's for Nick. Shmee 150 is coming to the U.S. for Car Week. Is a pod episode featuring him scheduled? No, it's not. But, Nick, what are your plans to hang out with Tim Shmee?
You go to Car Week.
I imagine the Quail every year has all the car influencers, for lack of a better word. So, yeah, I'm sure we'll say what's up, you know?
Say what's up.
What do you mean, say what's up? You got to have more than that for him. You're going to Tim
and I guess what Tim would be like, hey, good day, mate. You know, or whatever the British say.
He's...
Top of the morning to you.
He's British.
Oh, he's a southern British man.
Yeah.
Okay, Filippo, one more or two more? You pick.
Let's do two more.
Two more.
Filippo, are we going to see you at Car Week, by the way?
I will not be there, unfortunately.
You will not be there?
No.
Too expensive?
I can't have that much time with you.
From Naptown Fizzle. As a child, was there a car that your parents considered but didn't end up getting that you still regret? That's a great question. Nick, when you were growing up rich, what were your parents thinking about but didn't end up with?
That's a good one that I will have to think on. I can't recall any.
I'll tell you one that I go the opposite on. My mom, when I was 15, a year before I started driving, sold her 1993 one-owner manual transmission four-wheel drive Isuzu Rodeo. That we had low mileage, and it was like a robust body-on-frame truck. And she sold that just before I started driving to buy a Mazda Tribute, which was a rebadged Ford Explorer, which has lasted her for many years and was also a great car. But that was a sad... My parents never considered a car that they didn't get that would have been cooler. Filippo, what do you got?
I got nothing. We didn't move through cars very often or frequently.
Yeah.
Nothing that great.
We didn't really have a lot of cool cars either. I mean, the ML320 was probably our coolest car.
You had a Touareg 1, you had an ML320. Your parents were rich. They must have thought about a lot of stuff.
Think of the consideration set when buying either of those vehicles. Like the ML320, you'd crush up against a Lexus RX. That I don't feel like I missed out there.
Yeah.
The Jaguar X Type.
Did your parents consider a first-gen all-road?
I don't think so. That would have been cool. I would have taken that over Touareg, but I don't think I would have like I don't regret that today. It's not like you couldn't go find an all-road tomorrow for $600.
Yeah. So
here's an interesting fact.
Crush
when
ones.
My parents, for my brother, bought my brother's first car, a 1991 Lexus ES250. Do you know that car? Have we sold one of those?
You're saying I had rich parents, a Lexus for the first car?
Well, do you know what the ES250 is?
Oh, we have.
We have?
Isn't that the Camry, basically?
Well, but back in the first generation was especially cynical.
Yes.
It wasn't until 92 or maybe 93 that they really separated the Camry and the Lexus ES. The first generation was a really cynically rebadged Toyota Camry that was just of tarted up a little bit in order to kind of fill out Lexus's product line at their launch. They had three cars when they launched: the SC, the LS, and this. And within a couple of years, they had made this good, and the ES has lasted ever since. But we bought one of these. My parents bought it for my brother for $5,000 as a used car. And it was going to be my first car, and he totaled it 3 weeks after he got his driver's license.
No.
Damn. So you got a Volvo?
Yeah, a 5-cylinder turbo.
I will say, compared to having you drive, the Rodeo would have been cooler, but also from every statistical standpoint, notably less safe. People at the time rolled over all the SUVs all the time.
I'm
not
bummed.
Anymore, though.
My first car, the Ford Explorer, my parents said, you have a $10,000 budget. And I said, okay, great. I want an E30. And they said, no, you can't have a BMW. The optics are too bad. I'm still mad about that because an E30 would have been so cool and so much better in every way. I also looked at, you could get at the time Ford Tauruses with no miles. I was almost bought a Cadillac. What's the biggest one? DeVille. Because you could find DeVilles under 10 grand. I'm it's a luxury car, but it is the most grandpa car ever. Bad. And I can't imagine myself rolling around high school in a DeVille. But those are sort of the alternatives that I looked at.
You know what I really wanted and was available for the same money as that Volvo we got was a Corrado. I really wanted a Corrado.
You and Jason Camisa could have been such closer.
We could have been. I wanted an SLC, which was the V6 9294. I really wanted a Corrado. And back then, though, the problem was this was 2004. And it wasn't based on what you wanted. It was sort of based on what came up in the paper classified section. You remember this, Nick? Like I wanted a Corrado. They were rare even then. I mean, they were 10-year-old cars. They never were common. And so like I always looked every day hoping for one, but like one never showed up.
Never,
you know?
And remember the wanted ads in the newspaper or the for sale ads, you paid by the letter. So not only you had to like call because
PWPS.
Sometimes you didn't understand the abbreviations.
PL.
Other times like they just left off so much information because they didn't want to pay for it. So you had to call and then like maybe they sold it 3 weeks ago, but like they bought the ad for the month. Like it was such a process.
It was such a process. That's how I
go to the deal.
That's how I found my first car, Volvo. For sure, it was in the newspaper.
Congratulations to you both on getting a car. That was nice.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
That was my first car. I was in college. Shout out to
Yo, give me a break over here, Filippo, Mr. Man of the People. Meanwhile, Filippo cross-country skied everywhere.
Yeah, he had a snow machine.
It was a snow machine.
Yeah, there's no mountains. You can't go downhill skiing.
Yeah.
Okay, last question. Last question from O. Feliz. Pod Peeps, what's a normal car that you are shocked to see on the road?
Oh, there's so many. Truly so many.
Yeah.
I care too much. Doug and I think, both care too much about the normal cars
for
there to not be a long list.
First, starting from a Lexus ES250. When I see an ES250, I'm blown away. Yesterday, here in Massachusetts, I saw a Isuzu Oasis.
Whoa, really? Yesterday I was driving somewhere with my wife, and I pointed out a car in a driveway, and she looked at me like I was insane. But I don't remember what it was. It was
you know what?
to me at that moment, though.
I'll go alphabetically for you. Okay, Acura, EL, CSX, RLX.
So
Vigor,
an RLX or an RL of any generation, I would note.
SLX, Vigor, Audi, normal Audis, anything pre-2000.
Yeah, RS6s, Avants, I don't really look at anymore.
Those aren't normal. They're not normal.
They're everywhere.
Any Audi pre-2000.
A first-gen Q7 TDI, I know.
I can think of about 8 cars from every brand that when I see, I'm like, oh my God. Subaru, XT, SVX. Honestly, Tribecas are getting to that point. Baja, of course.
I thought you were going alphabetically. How'd you jump to Subaru?
Because we could go alphabetically or we could have a little fun. What else?
So
Mazda.
many Saturns.
Filippo, name the Mazda that you would find most interesting to see randomly. There's a correct answer to this.
There are 2 correct answers.
Okay.
3 correct answers. A 929, a Millennia, and a first-gen MPV.
Nope. The correct answer is Navajo. Even more obscure.
Obscure. You're not wrong.
First-gen MPV is really good, though. Although I personally was a fan of the MPV All-Sport, which was technically still the first-gen, but it was like at the very end of the run.
I count that as first-gen.
A 929 would be good. Yeah, a Millennia S would be good, for sure. Okay, Filippo, what about a Lincoln? What Lincoln would you be most
Continental
excited
coach
to see?
door, but that's not normal. I always pay attention when I see an LS in case it's a manual.
Manual LS, for sure. Zephyr. I think Zephyr's interesting because it was a year only before they changed the nomenclature.
I'll shout out our coworker Nolan, who has a deep thing for the EcoBoost MKSs.
How about the Blackwood?
Yeah, but I see a surprising number of Blackwoods. I don't know how.
MKS is a great one.
It is.
MKT EcoBoost.
Yes. Oh, an MKT EcoBoost. An MKT period, I would know, but an EcoBoost, damn.
Yeah.
Nick, we've lost Nick fully. He's on ChatGPT asking about Lincolns.
No, to me, my cars that I like are the discontinued and somewhat like scandal and blazing ones, like a Fisker Ocean. Whenever I see one of those, I'm pretty excited.
Filippo, give me a Hyundai and then we're going to end the pod. What Hyundai would you be most excited to see? What like obscure Hyundai?
Man. Veracruz.
Yeah, that's a good one. What about XG300?
Sure. I would prefer to see a Kia Monte than an XG300, but like, yeah.
Yeah. No, me too. Obviously, any pre-2000 Hyundai, Scoop and all that, but that's like, they're off the road.
It's a given.
That's a given. Yeah. I mean, I think any enthusiast would get excited about such a car. Yeah.
Right. Any enthusiast. Certainly every single person, to be fair, every single person still listening an hour and 40 minutes in.
Oh my gosh, we're still talking?
Still talking.
Veracruz is a good one. Okay, that's the end of the pod. Good night, everybody. Absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for listening. Nick, got any parting words for us?
Well, I just want to say again, congratulations to Kevin and Brittany for your
congratulations on
your car-themed wedding. They had me bring the Range Rover convertible to do some photos from the reception to the ceremony of the reception. And then they changed their mind midway through.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I taped together my convertible top for this. You can't cancel on me. But we're really happy for you guys. Seriously, that's awesome.
Yeah, shout out to them.
Pleasure. See you guys.
Bye.
Wonderful pod. Goodbye.